Uh-oh, I spoke too soon. No ways. So the dipstick tube is broken and we need to fix this. Now let me just pull this out. Damn. Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. So today we need to get this intake manifold off, and the intake manifold is connected to the airbox. So I think this will either need to be disconnected or removed from the intake manifold, because there's no getting this out without separating it from this. So that's today's job, and it seems to be a very difficult job. So yeah, we need to take this off. So we're gonna have to start with this, taking this cover off, then work our way in. So I'm going to be explaining what I'm doing while letting you see how I'm doing it. I was trying to get this hose off, but I can see that this hose is in there very tightly and it comes all the way to here. So what I'm gonna do is to remove this clip right here. Let me use a different plier. So this is what I'm going to do to remove this from this part, and then push this to the other side because it's difficult for me to remove it when it's like that. So let me also unplug this part right here, then I'm gonna move this to the other side. Pull out and push away. What I need to do right now is to remove this breather hose from the crankcase. Now when that breather hose is off, I can be able to pull this out. Then again, we're gonna have a bit of space to then move on to remove the intake manifold. So be careful with these ones because they break easily. So you need to squeeze in here, then pull it forward, then push it back. Squeeze. Okay. So the breather hose is off. Just make sure you don't pull it left and right because this is very brittle and it can break very easily. So now that this is off, what we need to do is to remove the clips right here. We need to remove the same clip which was similar to the one that we removed here. We need to remove these ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we need to get those off and see how we can work around that. So this needs to come off. So let me just try to tackle that right now. So what I need to do, now that we got this loose, this breather hose, this one comes along this line up to here. So I may need to remove this as well. Okay. So now that this is loose, we can pull this hose off. Don't worry about this one because I know which one I'm going to replace with. Okay, this is off. Let me just remove this part. Done. So now that this is done, we can have some space at least. Okay, one is off. So what you need to do when putting this back on is to make sure that you slide this, then it goes on like that. So this one is off. Now we need to do the same thing on all of these. So it's just sliding the other one off, the other one to the top like this. So okay, second one is off. So you need to do this all the way. I finally managed to get the final clip out of this, so I had to bring it from this other side rather than pull it from this other side. It's really a difficult job because you have to get a lot of things out of the way just to get to this part, and that's not really fun. So after removing this part, there are two bolts on the intake manifold which are holding the intake manifold on. So the first one is the one that you can see right here, and the other one is just right about here. It's really awkward to get into it, so I'm not sure if I can be able to film the other part where I take out the other one, because this one is easy to see for you, so it means it's easy to get onto, but the one that you can see is very difficult to get onto. Then on this one I'm just going to show you when it's out, but I'm going to show you where it is. So let me try to get this bolt out. I'm not sure which size it is, but it looks like a 13mm. So yeah, this bolt is a 13mm bolt, so you'll need a 13mm socket to get onto it, but it's really in deep, so I had to extend onto this long socket just to get onto it. Now the bolt is out, so this is the 13mm bolt that I need to take out. So I'm just gonna put this onto the side, then try to tackle the one which is in an awkward position. So I got onto the bolt in the awkward position, and it's very tight. So I'm trying my best to remove it, although I know you can't see it, but you get the idea where it's at. I'm very aware that you can't see it, but I'm trying my best here because I also cannot see the bolt, so I can feel it. I'm just afraid that it's going to drop down onto the tray, and I don't want to remove the tray and check up the car, but let's hope it doesn't. Okay, I have it. I think I need a magnet, and I don't have one. Seems like it's closer to dropping. Luckily I got it out. Uh-oh, I spoke too soon. Okay, the bolt is out. So it's two 13mm bolts with a washer on them. They have a washer, if you can tell. What I can do is pull the intake manifold out. As you can see, it's loose now. It is loose, so what I need to do before taking it out, I need to remove the air intake hose, then pull this other part out, man. Yeah, so now I'm gonna remove the air intake box because this is loose, but the only thing holding it in place is the air intake box. So after taking that bolt out, we'll also need to remove the air filter because there's this other pin or bushing that we need to push back so that we can be able to free the intake housing from the place that it's seated on. So this bolt does not come fully out, it remains in the air filter housing, so there's no way you can take it out, so don't even be scared. As it is right there, it's loose. So now what we need to do is to take out the air filter. Pull up the air filter just like that. The pin that I was telling you about that you need to push on is this one right here. I don't know why I'm calling it a pin. It's not even a pin, it's a rubber grommet. You need to push on this rubber grommet, then pull out the air filter. You also need to pull out on the other side. So after taking that out, we'll also need to unplug the air temperature sensor right here. First things first, there's a clamp right here. We need to remove this clamp. Okay, the clamp is off. Now pull out on this hose. That is off. Now the only things remaining to remove the air intake housing is this part right here and also this part right here. So I'm just going to unclip this, remove it onto the other side, then take that out. So I've decided to change my mind. Right now I'm just going to undo some screws which are here. I'm not sure if you can see them. There are screws right here. They go around here. There are 3. So I'm going to take this off instead of taking this out. So I'm going to take this off. Here we are. I'm glad you can see. So this screw never comes out. Now let's go. So I think I also need to pull this dipstick out because this is what's making the job difficult. So pull the dipstick out. Put it in a place where it cannot get dust, please. Throttle body off. What else is still hanging on here? Only this clip. Now I finally managed to pull out the clip. As you can see right here, the cable is free. So now I need to pull out the manifold and see if it comes out. So this map sensor was the one which is clipping onto the manifold and not coming off. So I just need to take this off, then try to remove it. So okay, that one is off. Now let me try to pull this out and see if we still have anything holding on. It seems like we're now free. Okay, the intake is now free. So man, this is very difficult to take off. Okay, the intake is off. We just need to unplug a few plugs, then we'll be clear. This plug is for the air temperature sensor. No ways. We have this. This is broken now. The dipstick tube is broken. We're now going to have a really big problem. So the dipstick tube is broken and we need to fix this. So I think this broke when the intake fell on it. So here's things that we have to go through, which is a bad thing to go through, but it happens. The air intake temperature sensor is out. So the problem with getting it out is that this piece is broken and now it's always spinning around. So I don't know. So now that we're done with those, what needs to come out is this part. So this part is left connected onto the intake manifold with this brake booster hose. So this brake booster hose needs to come off, at least separate from this part, so that we can be able to pull the whole intake manifold out. Okay, these are loose. Now let me just pull this out. Damn, there was a lot of pressure. So okay, now that is out, let's remove the intake, because now the intake is just there, free, waiting for me to remove it. Here we go. Here's the whole intake manifold out. Okay, so now you can remove these. So just make sure that you get this on first. It's a total of 8. So you need to get these clips in and lock them up right here. So this part right here needs to go under on top of this. So they need to clip on like this. Then your intake will be secured. So right now that's what I'm trying to do. So what I ended up having to do was to get this type of clips, because these ones are not going to be easy for me to fit on, because that's a very tight space. So these clips are 37 to 57 millimeters in width. So these are the ones that I'm going to use. And when I check, they fit very well. They're almost the same size with the ones which came with the factory manifold. So I'm going to use these ones because these ones have a screw right here which I can tighten or loosen the way I feel. So these are the ones that I'm going to use. So if you want to also remove the intake manifold, to put it back, just make sure that you get these clips, because these are going to make your life a lot easier rather than using these factory ones. So these are the ones that I'm going to use. So the first thing to do will be to slide them in, then put back the intake manifold, and then tighten everything up. They see what's been put on after. So what I ended up having to do was just to remove the whole intake manifold, because I was having a difficult time to put this on, because this space is very tight. So I ended up having to remove it and then put these in the turn lights. So everything is in position right now. What I need to do is then to put on the intake manifold. So We are good right now. It's not yet in position. So now just align these. Working on tight pieces like this. That was a very fiddly job, but now the intake manifold is in. So what I need to do is to screw this up so that there's no vacuum and there's no leak at all. So when these are screwed in, then we can go ahead and put back the intake housing. So just making sure that these are fully seated and pushed in as they need to. So these have been pushed in. So now the next thing to do is just to plug in these holes, or maybe just to get some flexibility. You can leave it there for now. Yeah.
Which one? You plugging what?
This one, this hose. Just leave it there for now. So what I need to do right now is to screw these up so that they fit in tight.
About the code because I forgot.
So what I need to do right now is to put back the clips which are going to clip onto this. So the first one goes in like this, goes in right here, then you put it in position right here, and the next one is for the breather valve, and then clip it in like this. The breather valve is in, so now let me just put it back in its position. Okay, the breather valve is in position. I also need to put back this hose in, so I'm going to use the same type of clips even on this hose. So it just goes in here, then you push it in just like that, then you tighten up the clamp. And the next thing to do is to put this breather hose on here just like that.
Which one is what?
So this is the breather hose. It connects onto this line, so it extends from all the way there. Then you put this tightening clamp so that it's tight. You leave it right there. That's tight and well seated. So the next thing to do is to put on the bolts which sits on the bottom of this manifold. The ones that I removed, do you remember them? The 13mm bolts. So they sit on here. The first one sits in here. This goes on top of it right there. The other one sits in a very tight position that you cannot see, but it sits somewhere around here. It's very difficult to see it. Now I'm just gonna tighten these bolts up. Another thing to do, don't forget to put the dipstick in. So this goes in here just like that. Here's the air filter housing. Now what I need to do is to put this on because I taken out the screws here, so you need to put the screws back on, then you're gonna be ready to go. So now that the air filter housing is tight, what I need to do is to plug in the air temperature sensor. The air temperature sensor goes in here. It goes in like that. Now just clip in this connector right here, and that's it. Now push this down right there. It's fully seated, and also push on the other side. So this is fully seated. Now what I need to bolt on is this part. The air filter is put in back like this. Then you're gonna put on the securing clip just like this. Okay, that's in. Just like that. So now everything is done. So thank you guys so much for watching this video.
I'm taking 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna get lost, I'm sick of this place. Don't know how to stop when I'm feeling this way. So I'm taking 6 shots till I'm feeling okay.